Rama Rama Hare Hare Hari Ram Sankirtan ki jai Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai Gopimanande Hari Hari Bol
Bhakta Dhimanta ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Very nice, Dhimanta. Especially your Chaurashtakam was very beautiful. You can sing Chaurashtakam. That is very great to hear that. Thank you. Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah. Jagjivan Prabhuji, are you there?
Yes, Prabhu, she can start.
Mataji can start, no?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Hope I am audible.
Not very
Yes.
clear, Mataji. Can you increase the volume?
Hello, Hare Krishna.
Okay, Mataji, okay, fine.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. So thank you for giving me the opportunity. And I seek blessings from Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and all the assembled Vaishnavas, so that the right word comes in right attitude and in the right time, so that I can deliver the message properly. So it will help us to progress spiritually further. So the topic I have chosen for today's discussion is anger management. So we are going to look upon in both material and spiritual perspective. So what inspired me to take this topic? So personally, I feel many times in controlling this particular aspect. So rather than suppressing this anger, I express it, and it will lead to serious consequences because of this patience factor is lacking in me. So in order to, while preparing for this class, I just try to imbibe and implement the principles which I came across, so that it will enable us to have a peaceful mind, and also we can easily remember Krishna, and we can engage in transcendental loving service. So every one of us have encountered this factor. So how to tackle it? Either like we will get angry, or some others, like someone else will provoke us, and they will show angry towards us. So we are just going to look upon how we are going to tackle this stuff. So moving forward, summary, I am going to cover anger, its introductory part, and origin of anger and its outcome, the consequences, and why anger is dangerous, and the devastation it unfolds, and also the stories and examples, and how to overcome this aspect, anger. So by definition, it means it is a momentary madness. So the word itself conjures venom, and it is like it gives a feeling of like it's a ball of red hot chilies. So if you are angry, actually we are spitting off venom to the other second party. So anger is equal to danger. It is one little short of danger, and also like we are angry, we are just getting closer to danger. So it is a punishment which we give it to ourselves for someone else's mistake. And anger can be compared to ball of fire. So if you are picking up a ball of fire with an intention of throwing it to someone else, obviously the first thing happens is we are getting hurt or we will burn our hand. And the second thing is, like if we are throwing into a second party, so they are also getting hurt. So first of all, we are contaminated because of our anger, and our consciousness is getting spoiled, and it is destroying the relationship also. So it's like switching in the wind. If you are going in the car and if you are putting your head outside the car and switching in the blowing wind, obviously it will fall on your own face. So it's like anger is the thing which burns all the good qualities if it is not subsided in the initial state. So anger is like it's whether it is in a social, political, or professional level, it blocks our relationship because of our the eagerness to prove that we are correct. And it is one of the 6 impurities which drive us, which keeps us away from Krishna. So it is one of the most prominent one among the 6 impurities. And it is also referred as Kamanaja. So it is like weather of lust, unfulfilled desires. So if the lust is satisfied, it will lead to greed, and if it is unsatisfied, it will lead to anger. So next we are going to look upon the origin of anger and the outcome. So in Bhagavad Gita 2.62, origin of anger, which is lust, it's been clearly mentioned. So the slogan goes like this: Dhyayato Vishyan Pumsa Sangas Teju Pajayade Sangas Sanjayada Kama Krodho Abhijayade. While contemplating the object of senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger develops. So the entire sequence is given by Krishna. So there are many attachments like physical, house, car, or even the thoughts that we want to be, everyone should adore us, or we want to be famous, or we have to gain high level need. So when these desires are not getting fulfilled, it will lead to anger. So what is the result? What is the outcome of anger? So it is being described in Bhagavad Gita 2.63. क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृति विभ्रमः स्मृति भ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति. So from anger it will lead to delusion, and the delusion will lead to bewilderment of memory. When the memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, we will be emotionally driven and we will fall again into this material pool of existence. So why do we get angry? There are several factors which provokes anger in us. The first one is control. So since we are in this material world, we are in condition, due to our conditions, is we have a tendency to load it over material nature. So we have to be the controller of everything, either money, situation, people. So if we are unable to control the situation as per our want, so obviously we are getting angry. For example, in working environment, or else if you are stuck in traffic. So if we are not able to control that situation, it provokes us and it will leads to anger. And the second one is expectation. So when the things didn't go as per our expectations, so obviously we will get angry. So the few examples are expecting appreciation from the office. So while I was working, so I was having the expectation of receiving appreciation for the work done, or for the effort which I have put in for achieving the target or closing the deal. So if we are not appreciating or recognizing our efforts, obviously it will lead to anger. So the bosses will also have some expectation from the subordinate that he should behave in the same manner as we are expecting. So, and also the last minute work assignment which been given by the boss, if we are planning to leave or we have some other plans. So these all factors will lead to anger. So the third one is opinions. So either in the family or any other relationship, if our opinions are not not respected or accepted, obviously it will lead to anger. So the fourth one is insult. So famous example is of Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj was not allowed to sit on his father's lap, and it aroused to anger. And second example which I have given is being blamed for the things which we are not part of it. So since like we are not the part of that mistake, since they have been blamed, like we have been blamed for that mistake, so it will, when our feelings are insulted or denied, neglected, it will arouse to anger. So the last one is frustrations. If you're waiting in long queue, either in a grocery shop or bank, obviously it will lead to frustration if our turn is not coming up, or when our attempts to enjoy as per our wish is not getting fulfilled, then obviously it will lead to frustration. So these are the factors: CEOIF: control, expectation, opinions, insult, and frustrations. So next is why anger is a dangerous factor. So it is anger is compared to a bullet. So it is like the words of anger is compared to a bullet. So both, if they leave the source, it aims at the person and it will never returns. And it is one of the demoniac quality, as it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 16.4. So these qualities are of demoniac nature. And it is 3 gates to hell, and it's been referred in 16.21. So it has been said that every sane man should give up these qualities because it will degrade our soul. And if it is not, anger is not used productively or constructively, it will result in explosion, and it will create enormous destruction in our relationship. So as gas cylinder and regulator, so if we are using the gas cylinder without the regulator, so it will result in explosion. So likewise, so if we are not using the anger in the proper or the calibrated way, it will lead to some other issues later. And also the dam, if it is not working without the shutter, the whole area will be flooded, and it will create create threat to so many other living beings. So likewise, if you are not using the anchor in a proper way, it is a threat to others. So there is a famous saying like, when there is anger, there is always flame under it. What are the consequences of anger? The first one is we will fall from the spiritual positions and prevents person from thinking wisely, because our intelligence is lost, as we have seen in the previous slide. So intelligence is lost and the memory is bewildered. We will be emotionally driven, and we won't be able to discriminate the things, what is right or what is wrong, and we will take wrong decisions. So we won't be able to see the problem exactly, what exactly it is. So the next one is, it will result in significant devastation, as it is stated in 3.37. Kamesha Krodesha Rajoguna Samudbhava Mahashano Mahapava Vidyenam Ha Vairinam. So it is a lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, which is all devouring sinful enemy of this world. So Mahashano, it has been stated in that 3.37, it is the all devouring sinful enemy. So what is the consequences of, in the medical perspective? Our more cells are destroyed, it damages our brain. So if we are angry, the mind releases the toxins into our body, so it will result in serious damages in our body. So digestion is getting affected, and BP increases, and it will lead to heart attack also. And if we are in stress, in sometimes we will try to intake more food, and it will result in obesity or insomnia also. Consequences of anger. So we are just going to look upon the few examples in which they have lost their relationship and they have been emotionally stable because of this anger. So the first one is of Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan was a great warrior and he had a liking for hunting. So usually he goes out for hunting along with his pet hawk and the ministers. But one day he lost his way and the day had been very warm and he was very thirsty. So he couldn't find any water source as due to summer, all the water bodies had dried up. So bodies had dried up. One minute, Prabhu. In the city, stuck So it had dried up because of this summer. So after walking a few miles, he could find a water body and he could find a rocky cliff from where the water was trickling down, drop by drop, because the sun, because of the summer, most of the water bodies had dried up. But he was immediately took the cup from his bag and he started to fill the cup, the water. So yeah, when he was about to quench the thirst, immediately the pet hawk came and knocked the tumbler. And Genghis Khan thought, okay, the first time it is due to like he's doing it for fun, and the second time also the pet hawk knocked the tumbler, and this time Genghis Khan was really manifested with anger, and he couldn't discriminate whether he is doing right or wrong, and the pet hawk, once the pet hawk knocked the tumbler, the Genghis Khan told, okay, this is the last warning for you, and it is not possible. Like I am really in thirst, and if you are knocking it again, I will crash you into pieces. So the third time also, he was trying to fill the cup, and the pet hawk did the same mistake. So he was not able to see the exact thing, and due to anger, out of his rage, he just took his sword and killed the pet hawk. So this time, when the pet hawk knocked the tumbler, it fell on the top of the cliff. So when Genghis Khan climbed to the top of the hill to see to get back the tumbler, he saw this poisonous serpent was spitting the venom on the water surface. So then he realized what exactly he had done because of this anger, and he has lost his favorite pet also due to his emotional instability, and he has destroyed the relationship with his pet. So these are the consequences of anger, and thus how the anger has spoiled the consciousness of Genghis Khan. And the second example is Yogi. So Alexander, you all know that Alexander, the conqueror of the world. So once he was on his visit to India, he met a yogi. So he was a great yogi, and Alexander was asking the yogi whether you will be able to come to Greece, because all my people was eagerly waiting to meet great yogi, because they haven't seen any yogi over there. So Alexander asked the yogi, but the yogi rejected the proposal initially. And the second time also, Alexander insisted that, okay, whether you will be able to come and I will offer you whatever you want. So you don't have to worry about any of the stuff. So he said, okay, I am okay with anything. Like I am self-satisfied and I am sufficient, feeling sufficient with whatever I am having. And I am very peacefully living there. So I don't want to come out there. So the third time also Alexander provoked him, and he said that if you are not coming, I will kill you into pieces. So this time he was in anger, and Yogi said, again he rejected the proposal. And Alexander said, okay, you don't know my value because I am the king of the whole world. So this Yogi replied, oh, you are the king. I thought you are my slave of my slave. So Alexander didn't get what exactly he is saying, and he said, oh, okay, can you just explain what the statement you have said? So he said, like, you are, because of you're angry, because since you are angry and you are asking me, like you told me, like you will kill two pieces, but I am the master of the anger, and I have conquered anger, and but you gave way to anger, and anger is mastering you. So thus the slave of my slave. So you are my slave of slave. So likewise, if we are not controlling the anger or using it in a calibrated way, it will lead to severe consequences. So the next example is of Boeing. So and their father. So father bought a truck, which is a new truck, and he bought it with limited earnings. So son thought, okay, it is a new. Son thought it is a new toy, and he scratched the truck with a hammer. And by seeing this, father punished him by taking the hammer and smashed his both the hands. So in turn resulted in the surgeons had amputated his both hands because of this heinous act from his father. So immediately son asked, like, when my both the hands and fingers will grow. So this made the father think about the consequences, like what exactly he has done. And because of that thing, and since he was emotionally driven, he came back to home and he literally took a pistol and he shot him both the hands. So that was the result because of this emotional instability. How to overcome anger? So which we are going to look upon through the escape formula. So if we are stuck in PC, obviously we will press the key escape. So likewise, if you're stuck in anger or in any other emotional negative emotion, the best way to get out of it is escape formula. The first one is give up the unreasonable expectation. So reduce the expectation from people around you with whom you interact regularly. So likewise, reduce the expectation. So everyone cannot be kind to you, or everyone cannot be affectionate to you, or everyone cannot you cannot expect everyone to be okay. He should treat me fairly, or he should should not treat me rudely. So likewise, so if you are expecting the expectations to a certain limit, then you can try to overcome this anger aspect. So the next one is understanding the real meaning of success. So most of us worry too much about the success and failures, and will consider success if only it is a win-win situation. So we have to make up our mind. If it is win-loss situation also, we have to take it as a success. So you have to make up the mind in such a way that you have to face the failures with courage. So whether it is win-win or win-loss situation, as these are all temporary things, right? So we are in this material world, so which we are trying to cope up, and we are just trying to get out of this thing. So in this, success and failure doesn't matter. So just take this as a learning aspect and just move on without focusing on the results. And the third one is C, that is give up unhealthy comparison. You can just engage in healthy comparison, which always help us to improve in our spiritual path. And fourth one is always seek blessings of God. So Lord Krishna. So that is the main aspect in order to control anger. And fifth one, don't bother about what people say or people think about you. So many materialistic people will criticize you. So you just have to hear from this ear and you have to leave it from this ear. So you don't have to bother about anything. And there is one famous pastime of Buddha, in which Buddha was once passing through a village, and one angry young man approached him, and he started shouting at him, saying that you are not at all worthy of teaching the philosophy of peace, and you are just a fake, and you are nowhere above any philosophical man. So Buddha didn't react immediately, and he remained silent, and he was in a spiny mood. And again, he provoked this young angry man, provoked him in many ways. But all the time, the reaction he could get is Buddha was very peaceful, and he was in a like a smiling and reacting to the situation in a silent mode. So immediately this young man asked, "Why don't you get angry?" So Buddha replied, "Man, if you're buying any gift for someone, and if that someone is not accepting your gift, so to whom this gift belongs to?" So this young man was surprised at this question, and he replied back, "As obviously it belongs to me, because I had purchased the gift for that person, obviously it will belong to me." So likewise, if you are getting angry, so if the other second party is not accepting the anger in an accepting mood, obviously the anger belongs to the person who is getting angry. So if you want to be in a loving mood always, and you don't have to hurt anyone else, so obviously you have to restrain anger from all this. So the last one is empathize. Empathize with others' problems. So if you are selfishly oriented, then you won't be able to see, like you won't be able to control the anger. So that is escape formula. And next we are moving on to Srila Prabhupada gives the very nice example of pond, fish and pebbles. So if you are if you are sitting nearby the pond, and if you are throwing a bubble, if you are throwing a pebble in the water, so obviously there are ripples created, and you won't be able to see the things like fish in the water. So likewise, if somebody throws provocation on the surface of your consciousness, so if you are not overreacting or not immediately reacting to the situation, and if you are taking some time and relax and take a deep breath or wait and tolerate, then you can just convert that provocation and to a valuable one. So likewise, so that is the best way to overcome the negative emotion, and you by just being calm, composed, and taking shelter of the Lord. So here the pebbles are compared to provocations, and ripples are compared to agitation, and the pond of water it is compared to our consciousness. And next, another strong example is of touch me not plant. So we all have studied in school, like touch me not. If you touch the touch me not plant, that is the stimulus and response concept, right? So the stimulus which we have given is like the touching or touching. So the response which we are getting is the closing of lips. So similarly, if we are if somebody hurts your ego by the words or actions, then the response immediately which we are giving is anger. So just to think of the aspect, what if like stimulus, there is a gap, and the response. So the gap which help us to think whether the situation is really needed, whether I have to react immediately, or I have to ignore and move on these comments or anything. So likewise, if we are creating this gap, we will be able to overcome that situation, and we can make our own choices, and we can create this space only by mantra meditation or by spiritual practice, and it is not possible by material aspect. Or else you can just go to count to like a 10, 100, or take a long breath, and while counting, like you can just chant and you can remember the Lord. So it will help us to control this anger to a particular extent. And the 3 B's in spiritual practice, how to overcome anger, it will help us. So if you are practicing sadhana bhakti through the association of devotees, and try to associate with saintly persons, and also Bhagavan, take the shelter of Bhagavan, just go to the temple, pray obeisances, pray to the Lord. Seeking the shelter of the Lord is one of the, and a surrender mode is one of the aspects which can overcome anger to a particular extent. So, and also reading the scriptures, the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and all. This helps us to increase the mode of goodness, because since anger is a mode of passion, so by engaging in this spiritual activity, it helps us to increase the mode of goodness in our mind. And I told you, like, it's like mantra meditation. It is the most profound and the most effective method of the spiritual practice. So it will enables us to control anger to a greater extent. So by chanting the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So it will help us to be tolerant, thoughtful, and also to lead a peaceful life. And always carry or refer a pocket or a sloga book. So it will, if you are stuck in traffic or a queue, so without overreacting to the situation, you just utilize that time effectively instead of getting angry during that time. And also regulate our eating and sleeping habits. So sleep at least for 6 hours, and eating, avoid starchy, oily foods. So this will help us to regulate this aspect, and also the regulating following the 4 regulative principles. And also the psychoanalyst perspective. There are 4 steps. Recognize as you are angry. So if you are not identifying that you are angry, then it is very difficult to overcome or control that thing. So identify the source. What had caused me anger? So the third one is understand the situation, understand why you are angry, and deal the situation intelligently. So because if we are creating, as we have seen in the previous slide, if you are creating the gap in between, so we can overcome that situation and we can deal the situation wisely. So without getting angry, we can act on it intelligently. And the main 3 steps is PAF, that is patience, austerity, and forgiveness. So the patience, if you are waiting in a queue or anything, as we have discussed in the first slide, so this patience factor, if it is lacking in our thing, then obviously we will get angry. So we can just reduce it. So by deviating or dovetailing our mind into spiritual aspect. So and also austerity. And if you're practicing getting up early in the morning or performing Mangala Aarti, by doing all these practices, we can rather focus on spiritual perspective rather than focusing on material mundane things. And forgiveness. So if you are blamed for something or someone is commenting on you, just leave it and you just move forward without taking into your heart. So that will help us to control this aspect. And a very nice example of the nice pastime of Sant Ekanath. So he was a great saint, and he was an embodiment of good qualities. And had never lost her temper. Always he remained calm and composed. Many people would visit to seek his blessings. So once in that same village, there was a wealthy man who was envious of this son Ekanath. That wealthy man hired a man and promised a good amount of money, whether if he could make son Ekanath leave his that calm and peaceful mentality. So this man, that hired man, took up this challenge, and he said, "Okay, within few days, I will make son Ekanath furious." So Sant Ekanath always every day he used to take a bath on Godavari Holy River. On his way to Godavari, this this hired man he sat on the top of the tree and he spat on Sant Ekanath. So this happened first time, then second time, third time, fourth time. So it keeps on happening for 108 times. So 108 times, this Sant Ekanath was not getting frustrated, and he really this hired man was really fed up of this patience level, and he fell at the feet of Sant Ekanath and started begging forgiveness. So, I have offended a serious Vaishnava, so senior Vaishnava, and because please forgive me. And he had begged forgiveness from Sant Ekanath. So Sant Ekanath didn't react to the situation. Instead, he told this hired man, as I took this as an opportunity, and it's been a great day for me because I have utilized this thing, and I have to bath 108 times in this holy river. So he handled the provocations without losing that temper, and we have to just try to imbibe and implement this quality, and we have to just learn and apply this thing in our life. And we can just go through the references from a scriptural perspective. So in Prema Bhakti Chandrika, it is mentioned as Krodha Bhakta Dvishi Jane. So we can use the anchor to defeat a Mayavadis or envious, who is envious of devotees. And if you are controlling the anchor, you will be liberated. And also, if you are controlling the anchor, then it will enhance in spiritual path. So anchoring, these are some examples. Hanuman, spiritual perspective, like Hanuman used the anchor in the service of Rama, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu aroused an anchor when he heard the news Nityananda was struck by Matai, and Narasimhadev, who came and rescued Prahlada, and he killed Hiranyakashipu because Prahlada was he was really tortured by his father Hiranyakashipu. And also the spiritual master sometimes gets angry towards us because just for the betterment of the disciples and the spiritual perspective. And also the Prabhupada's instances where he got angry due to the when the deity installation was going on in Amsterdam temple. It was not set, the things for the opening of the temple was not set, arranged properly. So he got angry. That is all transcendental anger, because he want to do everything best for the spiritual Lord. And also the deity couldn't fit in the altar because the altar size was too less. So they have to work on that. So that are all coming in transcendental perspective. And this is some other example of Prabhupada where he got angry because someone tried to shake his purport, and he said that these are not his words, these are the words of Sri Krishna. So the famous quotes on anchor, you will not be punished for your anchor, you will be punished by your anchor. And these are the quotes. And the next is, the last part of the session is key takeaways. burn your anger before anger burns you. Anger should be used to punish a demon who is envious of devotees. And remember and execute the escape formula to control anger. And we may lose our valuable ones due to our anger, so avoid and control it. As we have seen in Genghis Khan example, losing his pet dog. So after that, he made a promise that he will not commit anything. So you should not commit any sins or any. You should not overreact if you're in anger. So anger consequences and effects on both mental and spiritual perspective we have discussed. So you will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger. And also the pocket DG sloka book we have seen. So that will help us to channelize our mind to devotional service. So the most important one is become the master of anger by suppressing it, not the servant of anger by expressing it. And my gratitude and obeisances to my eternal grandfather, spiritual grandfather, Srila Prabhupada, and Radhesham Prabhu and Jagannath Mishra Prabhu. So I have whatever I have prayer, it's all because of their teaching. So I have just tried to replicate the same thing which I have learned from their lectures. Thank you so much once again, and thank you Prabhuji and Mataji for giving me the opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam Mataji. Very well done. Thanks a lot. Very nice presentation. As a formality, I'll just go through some of the things that I have noticed in your presentation. If you can kindly allow me to share my screen. Yeah, so it is 18 September, Sevadari presentation, anger management or management of anger. Speaker is Preeta Vasant. Commendations, very good research work and very relevant and practical topic, which the topic that am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji, you're very nicely audible.
Yeah.
No problem.
Very good research work, a topic that is relevant and a practical topic to all of us because every one of us suffer from these bouts of anger. Very systematic articulation of the topic, very linear approach. She built the topic slowly, step by step, brick by brick, motor by motor, and created a very nice house at the end of the presentation. Almost every slide has some element for the audience to self-introspect, and it connected. At least it connected with me. For every slide, I was thinking about something. It's a very new congregational member-friendly coverage. And it did not talk too much about theory, a lot of practical aspects. And anger in transcendental perspective is also extremely well covered. Takeaways, of course, very well covered and very good concluding quotes. So overall, I think I really personally like this presentation very well. I hope all of you also would have not only liked it, there's a lot to take away and a lot to go through this presentation over and over again to see what we can do with this in a very practical manner. It's a very nice thing. Mataji has done it. As far as the recommendations are concerned, in the end, she made a slide saying that she has learned from Radhesham Prabhu and other Prabhu. I couldn't get his name. But when she is presenting some very good ideas, if they are not her own ideas, like escape formula, 3B's formula, it's always better to reference where we are getting it from. This is a very, very important thing for us in our spiritual practice. Yesterday, I know how many of you were there in the Balram Desh class where Amrendra Prabhu was talking about the Srimad Bhagavatam chapter, Canto 1, chapter 1 to 6. There also he mentioned this point. And the speaker who was introducing Amrendra Prabhu also mentioned this point that whenever Amrendra Prabhu uses his presentations, have this aspect very dominantly clear. So I think it's better to put it wherever the new ideas and new concept. If it is taken from original thing, there's nothing wrong. We can say that this is my own thing. And how do you practically control anger? From your own perspective, which formula that you personally use would have been covered, because that makes the presentation more authentic. In this kind of presentation, instead of using the word you more, you, it is better to use we and I more. So when we start using in this kind of presentations we and I more, then we ourselves will realize what is that we have to learn in what we are speaking, and that's very self introspection and self measurement will ensure that the right words will come up so that the presentation looks more genuine and authentic. Because anger is a thing that I don't think you can say that I am a master over angry, right? Anger. So in that case, it's better to use more of we and I words than you. I think your presentation had more of you words that I could see it, but it's a very small thing. You can think it as a small learning thing and try to correct it. And in terms of area of improvements, I think I will send you the audio. I'll send you the recording. You please watch out for the repeating pause. You are using it quite a lot. This is a very common thing in Toastmasters also. They keep telling this. Most of the people have it. I also have these kind of idiosyncrasies or these kind of things. I may not use the word but I use something else. Some people use you know quite a lot. Sometimes I see Sumangal Prabhu also using that. The best example for this is Rupini Mataji. She also uses that you know very often. Everyone has this. I'm just giving some examples just to make it clear. I also have the habit of doing like this always. And everybody has this, and these are the opportunities for us to try to understand them, learn them, and try to avoid it to the extent possible, so that the flow will become better. So Mataji, I request you, when you listen to this lecture again, class again, you try to see with how many times you yourself have done yeah.
Okay,
And where and when can you exhibit where and when we can exhibit anger, if at all? I think that is not covered. You gave the examples of Prabhupada, Hanuman, Chaitanya Krishna. So that is fine, but in a practical condition, is there a situation where you can really exhibit anger? There are certain situations where we are permitted to become angry, right? But that anger has to be controlled. But there are situations where you have to become angry. Otherwise, things will not move. We have to become angry. When you are in an administrative position, when you are parenting, when you are counseling, when you are mentoring, there are situations where you are allowed to become angry. So that also could have been articulated. But again, these are all very, very minor areas of improvements. It's like the auditor, right? When somebody audits, no matter how good is the auditee, auditor has to put some points. So that's the reason why in that mood only I'm trying to put. And also you could have covered one other practical thing. What's the difference between irritation and anger? Many times people misunderstand anger to irritation. So this is an argument sometimes that happens between myself and my wife. She says that you're getting unnecessarily angry, but actually I say no, it's not anger, it's an irritation. So in that way, I thoroughly liked your presentation, Mataji. Very, very big thanks to you. Because
thank you so much, Prabhu. And the references that escape and previous. The escape I took it from Radhesham Prabhuji's lecture, and previous was my own.
Yeah, but there in the presentation itself, you could have put it as a footnote in the legend somewhere down.
Okay, yeah, sure.
That's very important. In offices and all, it's very important. That's the thing that we also follow. And it also gives you much more authenticity, right? Even if somebody wants to challenge you, they know, oh my God, she's telling what Radhesham Prabhu has told, so let me not challenge her. Otherwise, they may tend to challenge you. So that's one thing. And this presentation has been a very, I'll take 1 or 2 minutes of your time. This presentation is very timely to me because I'll tell you something which is happening in my own life. In the last 2 weeks, I myself somehow was finding that in the office meetings, I was getting angry. for some things that I'm seeing that are not right. But those things happened before also. But last 2 weeks, I was finding myself that when I'm putting my points across, I'm putting it in a very forceful, dominant, and in an angry mode. Couple of times it happened, and it's not my natural self. So something I felt very awkward, and I came home and told my wife twice. I don't know why I'm behaving like this in the office. Is it something in my life that is not happening that I want to happen, and that negativity and irritation is coming and throwing up in the office situations like that? My wife was telling, yeah, just be careful about it and correct yourself. But in home, I see you normal, but I don't know what is triggering you in the office. But after 2 weeks, one of my very senior colleagues walked into my office, and he also told the same thing. Jagan, why are you behaving like this? I never saw you behaving like this. Be very careful in front of very senior people. You are throwing up your anger like that. It may backfire on you, even though your intentions may be good. So that happened on Thursday. I came back home and told my wife, not only I am feeling it, somebody else also has felt it. So that means something is something is very wrong happening with me. So throughout the weekend, I was trying to analyze. My wife said, maybe you're too stressed, so relax, just relax. So I took a lot of rest today, and yesterday also I caught up some rest, and I was contemplating on what's happening, how I should control the anger. So this presentation was extremely timely to me. I will also re-listen to the presentation again tonight before I sleep, so that it will help me to calm me down, so that tomorrow when I go back to office, I'll be my normal self. So Krishna has basically arranged this wonderful opportunity for me. The problem that I was going through, Krishna has given me a solution through Preeta Vasant Mataji. I thank Krishna, and I also thank Guru Gauranga for creating this wonderful thing for me. So this is the advantage of being in satsang, where Krishna reveals himself through gurus, through satsangis, so that it becomes a kind of a speed breaker and a self-introspection point. So very, very big thanks, Mataji. I'll remember your presentation for a long time, because this has helped me to cool myself and know several things about anger and being angry. And I'm sure it would have also, same feeling will be there by others who have carefully listened to this wonderful class. I'm again very thankful to those organizers who have conceived this program. It's a very good program. We are getting so many new topics, new ways of people speaking. It's very, very heartening, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Any quick words, 1 or 2 words before I go to the class?
Yes, Prabhuji. Mataji, thank you so much from all the devotees, on part of all the devotees. From Jagjivan Prabhu's explanation, it's very clear to us that we should be very, very thankful to you for choosing such a nice topic and presenting in such a nice way. So many practical tips in this.